Stop me if you've heard this before. To master English, you just need to learn more grammar rules, memorize 5,000 flashcards, and spend hours passively listening. We've all been sold this idea that learning is about endless consumption and complicated systems. But if that were true, why are you still feeling frustrated? Why does your mind still go blank when you need to speak in a real conversation? The hard truth is, you don't need more information, you need a different approach. The real problem isn't your vocabulary or your textbook, it's a deeper, hidden habit that's silently holding you back. You're waiting for the perfect time, the perfect tool, or the perfect motivation, and that waiting is the most reactive thing you can do. Today, I'm going to share the single most powerful shift you can make: embracing the proactive English mindset. This one secret will stop you from being a passenger in your learning journey and make you the driver. This is the key that unlocks fluency. When you apply this one principle, you stop saying, "I can't," and start saying, "How can I?" You stop feeling like a victim of circumstance and start seeing opportunities everywhere. This approach will give you more confidence, more clarity, and more consistent progress. I promise, if you stick with me, you will learn how to make progress every single day, without waiting for permission or motivation. My name is Peter, and this is English Unlocked, the channel dedicated to giving you the mindset and tools to finally speak with freedom. Don't let another week pass you by. Hit that subscribe button and let's unlock your English potential right now. You think learning English is just about memorizing every single word in the dictionary, right? That's the outdated script they gave us in school and sometimes still give us now. We spend hours highlighting books and writing lists, feeling busy but not truly progressing. But let me share with you a secret I learned not from a textbook, but from years of problem solving in advanced mathematics and in life itself. The most crucial first step in your English journey is not a noun, a verb, or a grammar rule. It is choosing your mental and emotional response to difficulty. Think about the last time you made a mistake while speaking English. Perhaps you mixed up the tenses or used the wrong preposition. In that moment, did you immediately feel a knot in your stomach, wishing you could disappear, feeling shame, and deciding to stop talking for the rest of the day? Or did you manage to take a deep breath, pause for just a second, and tell yourself, "Okay, that's feedback, not failure. What did I learn from that moment?" That small, silent choice between shrinking away and stepping forward is the dividing line between a reactive learner and a proactive master. It is the choice between letting the mistake define you and letting the mistake refine you. The reactive learner waits for perfection before they speak, and so they rarely speak. The proactive learner speaks because they want feedback, because they know mistakes are simply part of the necessary process. Just like finding an error in a long calculation leads you closer to the correct answer. We are not looking for passive consumption here. We are looking for active creation of your own learning path. Right here, right now, I want you to feel that power inside you. The power to control your attitude, even when you cannot control the outcome of the sentence you just spoke. This is where your power truly lives. Let's stop being passengers in this journey, waiting for someone to drive us. It is time for you to take the steering wheel and start driving this English car yourself. You are the driver, not just a hesitant passenger. Let the world know you are ready to choose action. Let's make this concept of proactive versus reactive absolutely crystal clear, simple enough for anyone to apply immediately. Imagine two people waking up to the same scenario. It's Monday morning, and it is pouring rain outside, heavy rain, meaning traffic will be terrible, and everyone will be grumpy. The first person, the reactive person, groans loudly and immediately says, "Oh, my day is ruined by this stupid weather. I hate Mondays, and I hate the rain." They let the rain decide their mood, their energy, and ultimately, their actions for the whole day. They are giving the weather the power to boss them around. The second person, the proactive person, looks at the rain and says, it's raining. Okay, that means I will definitely grab my big umbrella, and I will leave 15 minutes earlier to avoid the worst traffic. The rain is the same external factor for both people. But the proactive person uses their mind, their choice, to decide their response, and thereby they maintain control over their experience. The situation does not control them. They control their response to the situation. Now, let's translate this simple example into your English learning. A reactive student might say, "I can't practice speaking because there are no native speakers in my small town." They stop learning because they focus on the missing piece. A proactive student, however, says, "Since there are no native speakers, I will use an online app for 5 minutes of talking practice, or I will record my own voice and listen back to it like a podcast." See the difference? One stops, the other finds a way to move forward. One complains, the other acts. The proactive person focuses on what they can do, what they can change, and what small piece of the problem they can control right now. I want you to become addicted to asking yourself this powerful question every time you face a roadblock. What is my next move, regardless of the difficulty? Do not waste your precious energy on blaming circumstances. That is a waste of your mental bandwidth. Instead, reserve all your energy for seeking solutions, for making that one small, intentional move. You always have a choice in your response. Are you going to let a difficult sentence, a bad grade, or a lack of time boss you around? Or are you going to be the absolute boss of your own learning journey? The choice is yours to make, and it starts today. As a specialist in complex systems like calculus, I've learned one truth. Successful people and successful learners always focus their efforts where they can actually make a difference. When you start learning English, it is so easy to get distracted by things you cannot change. You worry about global events, why the education system is so bad, or why native speakers talk so fast. These concerns are real, but they fall into what we call your circle of concern. You worry about them, but you cannot fix them immediately today. This worrying drains your energy, leaving you exhausted before you even open your book. But then there is the circle of influence. This is the powerful, small circle where you have total control. It includes your effort, your study time, your reaction to mistakes, and your consistency. The magic happens when you shift your entire focus from the outer circle of worry to the inner circle of action. Stop wasting mental energy thinking about why you don't have an American accent. Instead, use that energy to practice pronouncing 3 new words perfectly right now. Stop worrying about the lack of speaking partners. Instead, use that energy to record yourself reading a short paragraph. This shift is not just a mental trick. It is a fundamental redirection of your time and resources, like redirecting a river's flow to power a factory. The more you focus on what you can do, the bigger your circle of influence becomes, because you build competence and confidence. You start seeing that your effort actually matters. This realization is tremendously powerful. You are not a helpless victim of your circumstances. You are a creator of your environment. I want every one of you to ask yourself every morning, what is the one thing in my control today that moves my English forward? Forget the noise, forget the drama, and invest every drop of your energy into that answer. This is where true progress begins. Right in your own hands. How many times have you looked at your English book and thought, I will start when I feel like it? We all do this. We are waiting for a magical wave of motivation to crash over us, making studying easy and fun. But let me be your honest coach here. Motivation is mostly a lie. It is an emotion, and emotions are unreliable. They come and go like the wind. If you wait for motivation to show up, you will wait forever, and your English dreams will gather dust. The truth of success is this: action comes first, and motivation follows. Think of it like lighting a campfire. You do not wait for the fire to feel warm before you strike the match and put in the kindling. You strike the match and start the small flame, and then the warmth and the light, the motivation, come to you. Proactive people understand this deep principle. They do not rely on feeling inspired. They rely on discipline and a simple commitment to start, no matter how small. There will be days when you are tired, when you are stressed from work, and when your brain absolutely screams, just relax. On those days, you do not need to fight a huge battle. You just need to trick your brain. Tell yourself, I will only study for 5 minutes, just 5 minutes. Once you open the book or start the audio, the friction is gone, and you usually continue for 20 or 30 minutes without even thinking about it. That feeling of small accomplishment, that is your true, reliable motivation, born from action. So, let's stop waiting for feelings to align perfectly. Let's build a habit of starting. The most important thing is not how much you do, but that you do something every single day. Be a starter, and let the inspiration catch up with you later. We humans have a natural, almost subconscious tendency to deflect blame. It's much easier to say, I failed the test because the teacher is unfair, or I can't speak English well because my country has no native speakers, or this textbook is boring and useless. We shift the responsibility away from ourselves, and momentarily, we feel better. But this feeling is a terrible trap, because when you blame an external factor, you give that factor all the power over your future. You become a victim of the textbook, the teacher, or your environment. And victims cannot grow. This is the absolute heart of the reactive mindset. A proactive learner does the opposite. They reclaim their power by taking radical, full responsibility. They ask the ultimate question, what can I do despite this limitation? If the textbook is boring, you find an interesting English YouTube channel or an engaging podcast about your favorite hobby. If your city has no native speakers, you use the internet, join an online community, or simply record yourself speaking for 2 minutes every day. You do not stop because of an obstacle. You use the obstacle as a catalyst to find a creative solution. As a teacher, I know that resources matter, but resourcefulness matters much more. Your ability to find solutions, to adapt, to keep moving forward when things are not perfect, that is the skill that guarantees fluency. I want you to make a commitment right now. For the next week, every time you catch yourself blaming something or someone else for your lack of progress, stop. Take a breath and rephrase the sentence into a proactive question starting with, how can I? This small habit of owning your reality will transform you from a passive student into a powerful, self-directed master. Own your learning, own your growth, and you will own your English. Let me share a common trait among high achievers, and it's a killer for language learning: perfectionism. In my field, I've seen brilliant minds paralyzed by the fear of submitting a paper with a tiny, minor error. In English, perfectionism whispers this lie into your ear: don't speak yet, wait until your grammar is perfect. Don't send that email, wait until you sound exactly like a native speaker. This is fear wearing the clever mask of being prepared. But here is the truth you must internalize today. Perfectionism is just procrastination dressed up. It is an absolute barrier to fluency. But because language is a living, breathing tool for communication, not a flawless mathematical equation. You must use it to improve it. The greatest breakthrough comes when you accept this simple fact. You will make mistakes. You will mispronounce words. You will use the wrong idiom. And that is not a disaster. It is a necessary, critical part of your learning process. Think of a child learning to walk. They fall down hundreds of times. But they don't stop and wait for their walking to be perfect. They stand up and try again, because their motivation is communication and movement, not perfection. We must return to that childlike courage. The proactive student understands that progress is vastly more important than perfection. They focus on getting started, not getting it right the first time. So, my challenge to you is to actively seek out opportunities to make mistakes this week. Send that email, start that conversation, and don't worry about the small errors. Every mistake you make and learn from is a proof of concept that you are actively engaging with the language. Embrace the glorious messiness of real learning. Stop waiting to be ready. You are ready enough right now to take the next step. Imagine your beautiful new home has a small, quiet leak in the roof. It is just a little drip, maybe once an hour, and it seems minor. A reactive homeowner says, "I'm too busy today. I'll deal with it next weekend. It's only a small drip." They ignore it, hoping it will magically disappear. But what happens? That small drip silently grows, damaging the wood, creating mold, and eventually leading to a huge, expensive structural disaster. In English learning, we have these small leaks all the time. It might be a word you skipped because you did not want to look it up, or a grammar point you felt confused by but avoided. A reactive learner puts it off, hoping the problem will fix itself later. The proactive learner knows that all big problems start small. They deal with the small leaks immediately before they become crises. When you encounter a confusing English phrase, you stop right there and you look it up, you write it down, and you practice using it once. When you notice a slight misunderstanding with a partner, you take the initiative to clear it up immediately. The rule is simple: face the discomfort now, not later. Avoiding small issues is the biggest contributor to overwhelm and stress. Solving them early saves you energy, reduces anxiety, and keeps your foundation strong. It is not comfortable to face a difficult problem, but it is always less painful than facing a giant, unavoidable crisis later. I want you to look at your study plan this week and identify one small leak, one word, one structure, one task you have been avoiding. And I want you to commit to fixing it today, right now. Be a fixer, a builder, a problem solver in your own learning life. We live in a world that constantly screams for your attention. Your phone dings, social media lights up, the news demands your worry, and emails pile up. If you say yes to every single notification and distraction, you are essentially letting the whole world dictate your schedule and your priorities. This is the ultimate reactive lifestyle. A proactive person understands that their focus is their most valuable currency. They do not merely manage time, they manage their attention. And the most powerful tool for managing your attention is the simple, honest word: